the homework that I have done is, I have understood what is the life that a celebrity leads. I have studied about it, how emotions play a role in a person, makes the person a human. Then I saw that I am creating harmony in people's lives. And I always say, postponing the problem is not helping in any way. Rather, you will get ready to pay a bigger price for postponing it.
This is the 39th episode of Dream 100 Show with Mr. Akshara Damle. Welcome to Dream 100 Show, listener. I'm your host, Savita Hosamani. Each week, we interview today's most successful and inspiring business owners with winning teams who had the courage to chase their dreams in spite of all their challenges. Or we go on to explore one aspect of evolving business owners, cultivating their inner strengths for personal growth, which will impact business profits positively. Join us as we bring you everything that goes on in the minds of successful business owners during decision-making process and gain insights to make smarter decisions. Welcome to Dream 100 Show, Mr. Akshara Damle.
Thank you so much.
So let's get started.
Sure.
I'm all excited. From what I see is there is a logo displayed behind your back. And I see there is a heart, there is a M and a V. So what does this heart stand for?
Right. This is a very interesting question. And I had spent a lot of time in designing this logo. The primary reason is generally what we think is psychology means it's all about our thought process. But as I started practicing, what I realized is it's all about emotions. How emotions play a role in a person makes the person a human. I wanted to focus on that aspect. And that is why I made sure that we have a heart. Of course, there is a brain. That M is also indicative of brain there. Yeah. So that is how it is. We have to take care of both brain as well as heart. And in the same way, thoughts, emotions, and behavior. So that's how this heart is predominantly coming in my logo.
Very nice. So it is the head to heart connection.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. Very, very beautiful. You call yourself as the harmony coach. So how did that happen? Why harmony?
Initially, I was calling myself a psychologist, but people were wondering what the psychologist is. And whenever the word psychologist comes, we end up talking about depression, anxiety, stress, and all other disorders. But I wanted to be in a different space. I said, what is that I'm creating being a psychologist? Then I saw that I am creating harmony in people's lives at different levels, individual level, family level, organization level, or community level. So then I said, so if I am creating harmony in their life, why don't I call myself as harmony coach instead of just a psychologist?
That's brilliant. So you are relating the outcome so that people look at it positively, because
yes.
The minute you say you're a psychologist, like as you said, people look only at the disorders, anxiety, depression. They think that it is very not very uplifting. But the minute you say harmony, it gives a positive attachment to it.
Absolutely. Nice. And also those who are not having any disorders also can reach out to a psychologist to better their life. So it's not just that somebody who is going through any mental illness has to reach out. Any human being can reach out to a psychologist. That's why I call harmony.
So it is for mental wellness, like how we do fitness. Now
exactly.
we done wellness also comes into the picture. So your logo, if it is turned, it becomes wellness.
Absolutely.
Awesome. You have been a keynote speaker in various countries across Malaysia, Singapore, Philippines. So how did that happen?
Yes, I think especially people are becoming quite aware about these issues. Again, they do not have many people who can speak about this. Social media platforms have been very instrumental in people reaching out to me. That is how I got invite from all these countries where they invited me to speak about, again, not just mental wellness, different aspects of mental wellness, like wellness for leaders, mental wellness for entrepreneurs, mental wellness for parents. So likewise, I have spoken on the aspect of mental health and wellness to different category of people. And also I'm part of a networking organization called BNI that also has helped me in getting these kind of invitations.
For example, now let's take my case. If at all I want to know whether I'm mentally well, like how we go for physical fitness, the minute we say that we are gaining weight, we understand that, oh, now I have to become fit. So mentally, how do you understand that this is the time for me to start working on my mental fitness?
This is a very critical question and very difficult question also to answer, because there is no fixed measures for mental wellness. For example, for BP, you have 80 to 120 as a measure. Whether it is absolutely correct or not is a different question to answer, but at least you have some measures to indicate whether you are mentally or physically fit or not. But when it comes to mental health, there is no specific indicators as such. But what I would suggest is, if there is any imbalance in the way you are dealing with people in terms of your thought processes, emotions, or behavior, or if there is any thought that is bothering you, or any any shift that is happening in you, can be an indicator that something needs to be addressed. Being mindful of oneself, keeping oneself under observation, is a measure or is a tool through which they can actually figure out whether something is needed to be addressed. Yeah, something like that. But it's very difficult to, it's very subjective, I would say. There is no specific measure. But I have come out with a model for how one can keep up mental wellness, because I see that every human being in the world has one or other issue. It can be anger issues, it can be sleeplessness, it can be stress, it can be irritability, it can be frustration, or it can be OCD also, right? So, what I have given is a formula for mental wellness called REST, REST. R stands for resilience and reflectivity. The moment you are reflecting on your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, you will get to know something is off track. Then, how to come back is through resilience. Resilience is the method of bouncing back to normalcy. So, what is normalcy is the question. For that, the answer is equilibrium of ABC, that is affection, behavior, and cognition. What does equilibrium mean? Equilibrium refers to a person is capable of accessing to all kinds of emotions or thoughts at equidistance. Suppose you feel angry, you should feel angry. But the question is how fast you come back to normalcy. If you feel very happy, you have to feel happy, but you have to come back to normalcy. So this is what equilibrium is. S stands for sense of satisfaction, gratitude, and fulfillment. When you have these three elements in your life, when you are satisfied with what you are capable of doing and what you're doing, and when you have the sense of fulfillment that, yes, I am in the right space, and also you are grateful to the world, people, whoever is contributing to your life, that makes you humble and keeps you in peace. And T stands for true perception. Whatever you perceive, if you are perceiving it truly as it is, then you are not attaching any your meanings to them. Then it becomes easy to understand. So this is how I tell people to keep up their mental wellness. But as an indicator for illness or any kind of red flags, you need to look into if you're off track from your day-to-day life.
So that means to say, based upon the symptoms that we are undergoing in our daily life, if something is bothering us for a very long time, so we have to then notice So it is constant observation of one's own self, which will lead us to understand that something is unwell within us.
Absolutely.
You have interacted with people across the globe. So are the kind of challenges which people face across the globe similar, or is it related to category wise? Like when you said that it is entrepreneurs, do all entrepreneurs face the same kind of problems, or do all leaders face the same kind of problems?
Again, this is a very important question for us as mental health practitioners also, because what we end up doing is we look at the symptoms and label them very easily, that this is depression, this is anxiety, this is panic attack, this is stress, and so on. But I feel that every psychologist also has to be a student of sociology, because society plays a major role in formulation of our psyche. When we say, or when we look at even globally, the culture also plays a major role in the influence on the psyche. So I would say it is very diverse condition that we look into. Maybe people are going through depression, India, Australia, or US, or Germany, or wherever, but the reasons would be very, very different. So the modalities of treatment also has to change. So for that, the therapist has to be extremely sensitive to the cultural and social political aspects of that region, so that we can treat the person in an appropriate way. Otherwise, we may end up doing bad or worse to the client than doing any good to them. So we have to be very mindful in doing it.
As you said, different cultures have got different kind of significances. So to be a global psychologist, what is the criteria that you need to be prepared from your end?
So what I have done is I interact with a lot of people, and especially whenever the person is from other country, I engage in understanding what is their culture, what is their social setup, what are their practices, how do they look at life, and so on. And I also do a lot of reading and watch documentaries, because I think these kind of studies, background studies, are very, very essential. Because once a person from Australia actually asked me, see, you are from India and I'm from a different culture altogether, can you really treat me? I said, yes, definitely, because I understand what you are trying to say. And then the therapy went really well. Okay. So, yeah. So I think extensive reading, understanding, and interactions are the key for any psychologist to understand the global perspectives.
So in that case, how do people reach out to you? I mean, do they state their problem directly? Because this is a very sensitive subject.
So this is another major problem. For that also, I have come out with a solution. Generally, what they do is they start a simple conversation. They want to test the therapist, how sensitive this person is. So they will start a conversation either on an email or on a social media profile like LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram for that matter. So they just poke and see whether the person is sensitive enough. And then slowly they will say, what do you do? What is your therapeutic practice, and so on. I mean, it is a clear indication for me that something is bothering them. Then now what I have done is I have come out with a questionnaire, a subjective questionnaire, open-ended questions. They can look into these questions and answer them for themselves. So what I do is I send this PDF to them and ask them to fill it up. And anybody can fill it up. Not necessarily you have to go through any problem. It is a self-discovery questionnaire. So you get to know about yourself better. So when they answer these questionnaires, it becomes easy for them to recognize what is that they are going through. For example, recently a person came to me and said, look, I have anxiety. I do not know where is it coming from. So I gave this questionnaire to him, and then he came out with a list of issues that he has been facing. So that makes it easy for them to then open up. And then the job is very simple. When you know the root cause, things are half solved.
You are a celebrity psychologist also. I mean, you should have a different mode of approach to treat these celebrities, because I don't think so they are so much open as normal persons to come and state their problems, because for them it is their profession, the media, everything is involved.
Absolutely. And this is a major challenge for many celebrities, and hence they do not reach out to any therapist for that matter. Whoever has come to me have come to me at the edge of it, in the sense now it is a do or die situation. Now they have to reach to a therapist, and somehow they reached. And the initial questions will be this the same. Will you be maintaining the privacy? Will you be keeping up all the things within you? Can I trust you? These are the questions that they ask, because their credibility, their reputation, everything is at stake. So that becomes very difficult for them to reach out. And very often they have said that we didn't know whom to reach out to. Whom can we trust? Who is reliable psychologist? So these are all the questions, because when you come to a psychologist, you are telling the dirtiest secrets of your life. While the people are celebrating your life, your dirt comes out in front of psychologists, and it should not be used in any negative sense. So that is where the major challenge for celebrities. In fact, they also go through a lot of issues, right from performance anxiety to conflicts in their families, or stress in terms of work, because their work is not very scheduled. Sometimes they have to shoot for longer period of time in the night, and so on. Travel will be there, and at the same time they also have to be in the on the toes, because any new person can occupy their space. So it's a constant kind of pressure on them, and that is creating a lot of problems. And at the same time, managing the family affairs, playing different roles, is also another challenge that they face. Yeah.
Mhm. So, you as a psychologist, what are the challenges you face? Because when you are treating such a person, you would have given them a kind of routine, and because of their tight work schedules, they are not able to cope up with that, or they can't speak openly, or things like that. So, what are the challenges you face?
So these are all the challenges, in the sense suddenly they will cancel the session, or sometimes they suddenly want a session. Something is happening. Can you get me on a call? Or these kind of requirements are always there from them. And yes, they are not able to maintain whatever we suggest many times. They want privacy, and they cannot come to my office for therapies. So sometimes they want me to go to their places, or some other unknown place where other general public doesn't come. So these are all the challenges that they face, and at the same time I also face, because I also have to address these issues while looking into the major or core issues. So it is a challenge, but I feel that it is worth it, because they appear as role models for the society, and they carry a bigger responsibility as individuals. When people are looking at their lives, and if there is a bigger hole in their life, then it becomes very difficult for them to accept it. So that is when I made a conscious decision that yes, I will have to do this, but it is for their good.
Well, looking at you, you look like a very young guy, and you have got just 5+ years of experience in this field. The minute the people hear psychologists and doctors, they will be looking at somebody very senior. So when they look at a very young guy like this, what is their reaction? And do you think that you will be able to build that kind of trust, that kind of intimacy with them, where
Yes.
they can open up?
Age has been a boon as well as a kind of difficult challenge also, because generally people say ye to bacha hai kya karega, right? So that is a major challenge. But what I do is I offer a free discovery call for half an hour. In that, the way I speak, the way, because the homework that I have done is I have been part of I have understood what is the life that a celebrity leads. In fact, I have studied about it in very close corners of their lives. And so when I ask certain questions, they feel like, oh, this man understands our problems irrespective of the age. And some kind of questions that come as a spontaneous question in the as a part of conversation, they feel that okay, this is something that I need to discover for myself, and then they come up. In fact, interestingly, I should tell you that a 72-year-old lady comes for therapy with me openly shares whatever has happened in her life. And now she is performing really well. She was suffering from fibromyalgia. Now she is doing very well, even in her physical health, not just mental health.
Wow.
So that's the way it works.
Wow. So is language a barrier for you because you are from South, and when you need to treat people from different languages, be it even in South or well as in North, India has got so many kind of languages. So how do you overcome this language barrier?
Yes, language is a barrier. I should acknowledge this because I can conduct a therapy in English, Kannada, and Hindi. Apart from that, other languages become a barrier. In fact, there were some couple of clients who were from Tamil Nadu whom I couldn't treat. So language is definitely a barrier. Actually, I'm looking at this translators, live translators, as a modality for my therapies, because without language, because language is everything when it comes for a therapy or counseling, definitely that is a barrier. But wherever possible, I try to for example, South Indian languages I can understand a bit. I tell them, you speak, let me try to understand, and sometimes I use technology for some kind of translation. But definitely that is a challenge, I should acknowledge that.
Mhm. Maybe you should start learning different languages.
Yes, and definitely I should learn more languages.
Your scope for growth.
Yes.
From what you started to what you are now, have you seen a drastic change in organizations or in leaders approaching this situation?
I think my answer is both yes and no, because some of them have actually come out and acknowledged that they are going through issues. But at the same time, there is a huge number of people who are educated, who are popular, but at the same time, very much conscious about the mental health issues. Again, when it comes to HNIs, the major problem is most of them think that materialistic wealth is good enough for someone to be happy. But the emotional connection that matters a lot, and which is big miss or big gap in their lives. So they do not recognize it in the first place. Many times they say that I have provided everything for my son or daughter, provided her vehicle, driver, workers, laborers, everyone was there around them. But then I ask a simple question, where were you? Then the question is, oh, I was not there. So this is a major problem that both celebrities and HNIs are facing. That is where something has to be worked.
What has been your personal learnings by treating so many people in 5 years of years?
Yes, I think most of the celebrities or HNIs for that matter have two selves. One is artificial self, and second is the original self. When I say artificial self, irrespective of whatever is happening in their life, they have to appear strong, happy, cheerful, and all these kind of appearance is what makes them kind of find it very difficult to see the distance between the original self and the artificial self. And that is where the whole problem comes with the celebrities or even HNEs for that matter. I've seen them partying very happily in the outside, but within they are deep down, they are kind of struggling to live. So that is where the challenge is. And I have understood these are the major problems. And at the same time, another major thing that I have understood is, or I have learned is, the moment you start treating them as human beings, a lot of issues get sorted there and then there. So that's why I generally do not watch too many movies, because I don't want myself to be a fan of this person and then a therapist. I want to be a very neutral person who can see them just as human beings, just as my clients, and then treat, so that it becomes a very clear state for me to be in. So that is another learning that I have learned, because otherwise it would have been a different place for me to be in. Apart from that, I think once they open up, they open up very beautifully. It's the initial block that has to be broken. Once it is like, it's like opening the floodgate, then it keeps pouring. So till then, that is the effort. After that, it is an easy task.
In the process, from what we have seen is that people get attached to the therapist. Initially, when they have an issue, they don't want to come near. But once they start becoming familiar with you and they start building that bond, they don't want to let go of you also. So then, have you faced such situations where they keep clinging back to you every now and then, and they say, "We want you for"? Sometimes it might be even a silly thing also. So then, how do you manage such situations?
Yes, initially I was not aware of this fact when I started my practice. So what happened is one person started clinging on to me to that level that she had gone to a textile shop and she was wondering which dress to choose, and she ended up calling me, Akshara, tell me which dress to choose. Now I cannot be there in this kind of space. Then, in fact, I got coached from my mentors saying there is a boundary that one has to create as a therapist so that they do not cling on to you. One. Secondly, as a therapist, my focus later on, in fact, from the beginning itself, but I didn't know this clinging impact will happen. I want my clients to get empowered by themselves to handle their issues. I am not their problem solver. I am a facilitator for them to solve their problems. So that is the approach that I have adopted. After that, things have been very, very simple, and I generally do not get those calls later on. So yes, at one point of time, people used to cling on to me, but later on, it is a very healthy space where they come on scheduled sessions. Of course, if there is any crisis, they do reach out, but otherwise, for these silly things, they do not come to me. And yeah, that is how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, how does your family deal with it? Because your profession is a different kind of profession. So, of course, it will have its impact on your family life as well. So, how do you deal with it?
So, what I have done is I have made a very strict discipline in my life. In the mornings, I do not take calls or take sessions until 11 o'clock. I keep it for myself and for family things and so on. And later on, once I start taking sessions, it goes up to 9 o'clock in the night. So that is how generally it goes. So definitely, in fact, what I have also done is in my calendar, I block my breaks also. Whenever I have a family time, that schedule gets blocked so that no sessions get booked at that point of time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is how I ensure that there is a right balance in terms of my work as well as my family.
Okay, so what was the lowest point in this profession or in your life where you felt that you had hit the rock bottom and then you bounced back? And what has been your learning in this process?
In this profession, I think the initial days themselves are the lowest areas of my career, because initially I didn't have the courage to start my own practice. So I was thinking, let me collaborate with some psychiatrist or psychologist, work under them as junior and then learn things and then go ahead. So like this I was thinking, and I approached couple of therapists, couple of psychiatrists. Nobody encouraged me in any way. Then I was like, how is this possible that I'm not getting any opportunity to work with any senior therapist? Slowly I started Manosamvaada, but initially there were days where I didn't have any client who would come for therapies. And once it happened so that I was staying in a PG when it was the initial days in that PG. So other PG mates used to ask me, you call yourself a psychologist, you sit in the PG all the time, what do you do? So this used to be a case. But then as I started building up, I think later on things have moved very well. I feel very much grateful for this universe for giving this opportunity to create impact in so many people's lives.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And one thing is, people who get treated, they don't give any kind of, because usually, if at all you see in any other product or service, they flaunt around saying that this product helped me, this service helped me. They don't mind giving video testimonials. But in this case, you don't get testimonials also easily, nor referrals also easily. So, how did you manage that?
Yes, this is a major problem, but at the same time, it is an ethical issue as well. Because as a therapist, we are coming with this ethical guidelines that we are not supposed to reveal the name of our clients. So I was very conscious about this fact, but at the same time, I can only say I have treated a Bollywood celebrity, I have treated a sandalwood celebrity or a Tollywood celebrity, cannot even reveal their gender. When it comes to referrals, also there is a constraint, because nobody wants to say I have been to a psychologist, I have got treated, now you go. So there are two questions. One is to acknowledge that they had a problem. Second is to acknowledge the other person also has a problem. So this is where the challenge is. That is there. But at the same time, some people have been kind enough to refer me. And again, social media is the way for celebrities to reach out to me. Yeah. So that's how it is.
So, what is your signature program?
So Life Full of Freedom is my signature program, specifically wherein I have intertwined my therapeutic expertise as well as my coaching skills. So what I do is I look at the resistances, inhibitions, self-limiting beliefs, or childhood traumas or agonies, whatever it is, I address that first. So then bring the person to the present and then help them create their future. So that is my signature program. Second, I have Netrutvam, which is for leadership. I have come out with 15S formula for leaders, which is a culmination of traits and skills which are required for leaders, which also help them in balancing empathy and assertiveness. I have another signature program called Conscious Parenting, which is making the parenting an easier task and also bridging the conflicts or gap in terms of communication between the parent and the child. So these three are my signature programs.
Mm-hmm. So you keep having them even in the online space as well?
Yes. These are the individual programs. Leadership happens on a group level also, but other things are very personalized, customized programs, so that we are addressing the core issues that are happening in their own life, and they can be free to express all their secrets and get it addressed.
Mm-hmm. So what is the duration of this program?
So all the programs are 3 months, where I take the first month or 1.5 months to look at the issues that they are going through due to the past experiences. Then the next 1.5, we help in creating the future. So that's how it is designed.
So what has been the best feedback which you have received so far?
There are many feedback that I've got. I would like to mention two. One is when Sushant Singh Rajput died, one of the celebrities whom I was treating, she's from Bollywood itself. She texted me, probably if your sessions were not happening to me, you would also have received a similar news about me, that this person has died. So she was in that kind of edge when she reached out to me. So that is one. Secondly, recently treating a model from Bangalore. She was on anxiety and depression pills for last 10 years. But in the last 2 months, she has come out of one of the pills. Another pill still remains, but we are in the verge of closing it in another 2-3 months. And it is not just me who has closed the pill, but the psychiatrist also has endorsed it. So that is where the effectiveness of therapy that comes into picture. That, and I am a strong believer that a lot of mental health issues do not need medication. So that is where my tagline also comes: medication without medicine. So so that is where things have changed, and she's also very happy in with my therapies, and she's doing very well in her life. So these are the two things that have really created an impact for me.
Mm-hmm. So who has been your inspiration personally?
As a therapist or as an individual?
Both.
So as an individual, I admire Dr. Abdul Kalam a lot. In fact, I got an opportunity to meet him in person in my fifth standard. So that since then, I am always thrilled by enthusiasm and energy this man carried all his life in doing things that he envisioned for this country, not just for himself. As a therapist, again, we do not get much opportunities to see how other therapists are functioning. But Dr. Sudhir Kakkar's books have been a game changer in my life, because that is where I started understanding that psychology is not about reading the textbooks, but understanding from different perspectives. So I would like to acknowledge my gratitude to these two stalwarts. And of course, my parents have been great support for me as well.
Hmm. This is just on a lighter note. So when you meet a person, do you start wondering what is going on in their minds, or do you just look at them normally?
No, so the answer is I am a normal person when I'm out of therapeutic space.
Okay.
Yeah, otherwise, I mean, in the initial days when I started learning psychology, when I was doing my master's, whenever I meet a person, I would start looking at their body language, what is their eye movement, what is their hand movements, and it was like staring. And when it is an opposite gender, they started wondering, this is an embarrassing situation for them. Then I realized this is something wrong that is happening with me. And that is when I trained myself to put on my therapist mindset when I'm in a therapeutic space, and put it off when I'm in other setups.
From what I have heard and read is that maximum number of suicides are committed by psychologists or psychiatrists. So how do you see to it that you are not getting affected by all the people? Because when people come there to you, they are at their lowest points, and from the energy level, it is the negative energy that they are emitting at that space. So you transform that negative energy to positive energy. But how do you replenish yourself with positivity?
We are always working in facilitating others to clear up their mess. That definitely takes a toll on our health, our lives. So that is where we have to create a boundary for ourselves. While we preach to others that self care is a very important aspect in everyone's life, we should start following it and walk the talk. That is when we can actually maintain our sanity and kind of become better human beings at on a regular basis. So what I do is early morning I wake up around 5:30, practice my physical exercises, yoga and walking, jogging, and so on. Then spend some time with myself, meditate. Then also, I have learned Carnatic classical music. I use it for my benefit and my wellness. I sing, express all the emotions, whether it is whatever the emotion, happy, sad, anger, everything comes through music. So I ensure that I am in an energetic, healthy space before I treat any client of mine. And in case if I'm not there, I acknowledge to them that today I'm not in a good space. Can we do the session some other day if it is not an emergency? So that ways I have been open, because at the end of the day, I also have to acknowledge I am a human being. I can also have bad times. I can also have stressful days. So when I acknowledge it, it becomes very simple and becomes easy for me to handle my.
Awesome. And so, what is the best advice you would like to give to budding psychologists?
Sure. I always encourage any psychologist to read different subjects. I should mention here that since I was a UPSC aspirant at one point of time, I mean, aspiring to become a bureaucrat, I had got an opportunity to read different subjects, right from economy, polity, history, geography, and so on. And that had widened my horizon. And at the same time, because I read newspaper, other books, and so on, I can bring out some issue which is related to the client. That makes them, oh, this man understands my world. And that itself is a good starting point to build the trust and rapport. So I suggest every psychologist, for that matter, has to read many other books apart from something related to psychology, so that they can actually build trust and rapport. And if that is built, then conducting a therapy is a very easy. So building rapport is very, very important. We should focus on that.
Mhm. Awesome. So, on a scale of 0 to 10, how do you rate your sense of humor?
I'm a silent killer, I should say. In general, I appear very serious, but some of the humors that I crack, people wonder how this person is having this kind of sense of humor. So I would rate it at 6 or 7. Yeah.
Awesome. Great. So, with this, we almost come to the end of this brilliant conversation that we were having, and great insights. So, if people want to reach out to you, how do they reach out?
They can email me directly. That is AKSHARADAMLE at Manosamvaada, MANOSAMVAADA.com. So it's a little longer email, but if you connect my name and my company's name, it's the easiest one.
Mhm.
And they can also reach out to me by phone call or WhatsApp. Sting me on 866-066-9982 with country code +91. Message is preferred so that I can answer their queries and issues. I'm present in Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, everywhere. So these are the other modalities that they can reach.
So, just typing your name on social media will lead
Yes,
your
yes,
handles.
absolutely. Google is the best
Okay.
finder.
Awesome. So, as we come to the close of this conversation, any other thing which you feel might add value to this conversation, please feel free to add.
I think we as individuals might go through any kind of psychological issues at any point of time. Whatever we might have achieved in the past, still there could be some difficult situations or circumstances for us. So we have to be mindful of that. Reach out to therapists, whoever it is, whoever you are comfortable with, so that you address the major problems. And I always say, postponing the problem is not helping in any way. Rather, you will get ready to pay a bigger price for postponing it. So instead of postponing, get it resolved then and there, so that you can lead a better and life which is full of freedom.
Awesome. So, before we close, I have just one more question. Since you are a celebrity psychologist, are your fees also as big as the celebrities?
I look at it in a different way. What is the value that I add for them? Accordingly, my fee structure is also designed. So when the value is bigger, definitely the fees is also.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful chatting with you too, and gaining all these insights about mental wellness and how to be approached and be approachable also. In both the ways it works as an individual. So I think this will add a lot of value. I learned a lot in the process. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful speaking to you. I think a lot of thought provoking questions, which I had never answered in my life, have come here. Thank you so much.
I thank Mr. Akshara Damle from the bottom of my heart for this amazing and engaging insights about mental wellness and mental fitness. So, here are my top 3 takeaways. My first takeaway is that a lot of mental health issues do not need medication. What a relief. So, do not postpone any issues which is actually bothering you from within. My second learning is that keep constantly observing yourself and keep checking if you're off track from your day to day activities. My third learning is that emotions make people human. Along with materialistic wealth, emotional connect is important for mental fitness and to be happy from within. Thank you so much for these amazing insights. Never lose out on an opportunity to learn about cultivating your inner strengths on Dream 100 Show. We strongly believe that life is just a play. We win some, we lose some, we miss some, and we mess with some. So enjoy your journey and play to the fullest. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Dream 100 Show. And now, make a smart decision of taking the next step towards building your trust and your dreams. Don't forget to subscribe to Dream 100 Show and leave a review on Apple Podcast. Share your biggest takeaways with us and follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. For more details, shoot an email to us. This is Savita signing off, and catch you soon in our next episode.